Welcome back to the Casual Car Camper. I'm your host Brian, and with the weather getting colder, but we still have a little camping season left, I broke out my heaters. I figured to talk to you about them today. Now, heaters come in a couple different categories. You have your catalytic, which basically means the flame is contained inside the unit. Now, they traditionally or mainly use less fuel, but there's still not zero emissions. They will produce less carbon monoxide. They'll use less air. They'll produce less CO2, but you still want to use them in a ventilated area. You also, if you're going to use a catalytic heater indoors or in a tent, you're going to want to make sure it has a low oxygen sensor. There is a Canadian Standards CDS 9.14, I believe. I will post it up here if I'm wrong. That if you see that, it means it has a low oxygen shutoff. You also, while we're talking safety features, you want to find ones with some sort of tilt over shutoff. This big old kerosene heater here, it's a kerosene heater. If it's not level, it will actually turn off because it's got a very simple, this lever here holds open and there's a catch. If the catch doesn't catch right, it won't stay open and it'll just close on you. Let's start. Okay, so that's catalytic. Then you have open flames, which, you know, is like a kerosene heater or something. You'll actually see the fire licking away along the wick. It's much more obvious. This Dynaglow is somewhere between open flame and a catalytic. If you saw my video where I unboxed my Coleman catalytic here, that you couldn't really see the flames because that's because it's catalytic, it's internal, but you can feel the heat. Then you have forced air, which is basically just heat going over something that an open flame that's heated, and it just keeps pushing the air out. You have some that are radiant heaters, and most of those use internal heated fluids moving around, and those will radiate out usually. Then as far as directional, there's two directions, direct and omni. That's fairly simple to figure out. If it's only got one face facing you, it's a direct heater. If it's a circle, it's omnidirectional. And then fuels. Don't worry, this is not going to be a 6-part series where I talk about each fuel individually because I've already done that. Because believe it or not, every type of fuel that you can use for cooking your food, you can use for cooking yourself. Or, well, at least keeping yourself warm. You have kerosene, which actually I don't think there's on the market anymore any camp stoves that run off kerosene, and kerosene's a little bit harder to find anymore. But you can get old kerosene heaters cheap or free off of at tag sales. They're not bad. They burn pretty warm, but they are smoky and put out a little bit of smoke and burn a lot of oxygen. So I would only use it for outdoor use, or open up the flaps of your tent, put it outside, and have it radiate in. Maybe put a little fan in the front. Electric. The issues with electric are you need a power source. You're going to need, there is a chance electric heaters, if you get something flammable near them, if they fall over, they can cause a fire if they get hot enough. Advantages are they don't use CO2, they don't produce carbon monoxide, they don't use oxygen, so you don't have to worry about that in your tent. You have your Coleman camp fuel. You probably saw in my tag sale adventures, I had some issues with this. Again, you're using a liquid fuel, so it's, that's dangerous. You can get an accidental fire from that. You're dealing with a fuel that's kind of hard to light. These will, when you get them light, sometimes you'll get a huge plume. I tried two different ways of lighting it. Both ways I got extras fire till it burned down and was actually heating properly. I do not recommend using Coleman camp fuel in it at all. Like I said, I was going to clean this up and sell it. Now it's just going into the junkyard. Then we have propane. Yes, I have 3 different propane heaters because they actually have, really show the different types. You have your, this one is, I believe it's an open flame. No, this is also a catalytic, so it doesn't have the open flames, but it will still burn oxygen. They're considered to be best heat for your fuel buck. So we have this one, this heater here, and both of these are using radiant heat to press. They're catalytic, and they use basically radiation to heat the rooms. So they're both using radiant heat to, after creating the heat through catalytic purposes, to heat the area. So real close to them will be really warm. Farther away it will be cooler. I would still not use these in a closed space. I would be very careful. And I would, if you're going to use any of the catalytic heaters inside a tent or inside an RV, at the very least get a carbon monoxide tester and get a low oxygen sensor. And lastly, you have your portable catalytic. This one here does have a built-in fan to push around heat. It does have a built-in fan, just requires a D-cell battery. And that's basically it for heaters. There's not a lot. It's basically type of fuel, type of space, and whether or not electricity is available, and whether you want to just point it at you and get you warm, or you want to put it in the middle of the room and warm everybody up. Those are basically your differences. I'm going to say, per usual, propane is going to be my go-to. One, because I mainly use propane for cooking, and it's the safest to transport, puts out the least amount of smoke. So if you do want to take it into your tent to warm it up and then take it outside, and just make sure that you don't have too high of carbon monoxide and you don't have it burning when you're in there with it. That's the way I would go. Besides, maybe electric. Which you could also run this off of a solar battery bank. Depending on the bank, it may not last all night, but it will, keep you warm for a while, and then that trapped in heat will keep you warm. Okay, campers, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave a comment in the comment section below, or contact me directly, the Casual Car Camper on Facebook. And remember, as always, as long as you're having fun, you're doing camping right.